Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and gentlefolk, of course. Gotta be inclusive of all. First of all, happy June, happy Pride Month, happy gay. And today is not a good day, as you can see here. Now, if you don't know what you're seeing on my screen right now, and if you don't have any idea of what's showing there, if you haven't been following up on the news, or if it hasn't been pretty much shown anywhere outside of the UK, um, last night, well, first of all, I live in Northern Ireland, which is part of the UK in that case. And last night there were a wave of protests all over the country, essentially, but especially located in Belfast. And what happened exactly was on Monday evening, a man was nearly beheaded by another guy um, who, despite not my liking for passing this type of information, the man was a Sudanese refugee, well, asylum seeker in that case. Uh, in other words, a refugee. So a Sudanese refugee nearly beheaded someone in North Belfast on the evening of Monday. That was 2 days ago. And then because of that attack yesterday, a bunch of groups from the far right in the UK actually started calling for protests all over the all over the country essentially. But they also even included Ireland, the Republic in that case in the south, and um, yeah, they were basically calling for everyone to be united against immigration in that sense. Um, and the protests were not just protests, of course. They evolved into violent riots, as they tend to happen, and they've been tending to happen recently, because this type of thing has been happening once every year. It is ridiculous for me to say this, but they have been happening once a year in the UK. I can tell you that there was one here in Northern Ireland again last year. There was another one UK wide in 2023. um, it just keeps on happening every year, and it's it's beyond me, because the police wasn't really doing much. Let's be honest. I mean, it's not really being shown on the images that I'm showing on my screen right now. This is from the Guardian. They uploaded this like 3 hours ago, just a compilation of a bunch of clips of what happened yesterday. And essentially, the police wasn't really doing much in the first place. PSNI is being fucking useless, actually. They have been trying to get people away from protesting and stuff, and just trying to make things more peaceful. But what do you expect from a bunch of racist cunts? And that's the word I'm gonna use, racist cunts, as those guys are. Like, what do you fucking expect? And I'm not angry at this just because I am a leftist, not just because I am, you know, uh, I don't know, someone who isn't from here. I wasn't born in Ireland. I wasn't born in the north of Ireland. I wasn't born in Europe in the first place. The reason why I'm so mad about this is because they talk about, stopping discrimination. They are talking about um, getting rid of this whole wave of hate going towards immigrants at the moment. They are talking about all of this shit, and then they don't do anything. Like, it's just ridiculous. And I am glad at this point, because I don't live in Belfast anymore. I actually live somewhere else. Um, but I used to live in Belfast, and I know that some areas in there, that even my work colleagues were telling me they were troublesome. Um, and it's just ridiculous. Um, to help with the anger as well, yesterday I was at work. I was supposed to be working until 10 o'clock yesterday, and instead of doing that, my boss basically just let everyone go home at 6. And while we took the trains and buses and stuff to go home, and then all of those services stopped yesterday around 7 or 8 o'clock. I don't remember now, but they all stopped at that point. Um, and I basically got the last bus to be able to go back home. And if I didn't get that, I would have had to call one of my parents to try and give me a lift back home, because I would not be able to do that in if it wasn't for transit. So it's just ridiculous. And well, in terms of things that have happened yesterday, in terms of the riots, really, that I would like to call them, if we go back a little bit, we can see that bins were being put on fire. There were many streets being blocked all over Belfast, all over Northern Ireland, really. Um, Even in some places like Antrim or Derry, in that case. Um, Cars were set alight as well. There were a bunch of arson attacks on houses yesterday, so I think like three houses were actually on fire. They put that bus here. Uh, where's the bus? This bus from the glider service in Belfast on fire as well, and the firefighters were actually trying to control that for hours. That's the Guardian showing the location where the whole assassination attempt happened. Those are a bunch of racist idiots coming from all over the UK, really, because I've seen that people from England were coming around, people from the far right in Northern Ireland as well. Um, yeah. And there have been like smaller protests happening as well around, I think it was Edinburgh or Scotland, or not Scotland, sorry, Glasgow in Scotland. Um, and I did see a clip from that the where those racist idiots were basically just ganging up on like two, let's be honest, two black people who could have been UK residents, they could have been UK citizens, but it doesn't matter to them. The issue is not that we are immigrants. The issue is not that I come from a different country than them. The issue is the skin of my color. Is the color of my skin. So yeah, it's just amazing, isn't it, that this sort of situation happens. I am afraid to go back to Belfast, to be perfectly honest. I don't think I'm gonna work today. I'm in contact with my colleagues, management. I'm speaking to everyone at this point to see if I even go to Belfast, because as of the recording of this video, it is um, Wednesday. It's the following day past this, because this was on Tuesday, and today is Wednesday, the 10th of June at 10 a.m. So I'm not exactly sure what's gonna happen, because they are calling for more protests. My colleagues have talked about this in that case. They've let me know that there are more protests that will potentially happen today, more road closures, and possibly even transit being stopped again. And if that does happen, if considering what happened yesterday, because there were arson attacks, there were violent attacks all over Northern Ireland. Considering that this happened, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to go to work today. So it just says a lot, doesn't it? And to be perfectly honest, I haven't really spoken about this with much people, but if this sort of shit continues going on, I might even not want to live here in the first place. Which, I mean, is literally their goal to push immigrants away. So congrats, you're doing that. Um, but yeah, no, for the sake of my own safety, I don't even think I want to live here. Um, in the long term, I might just stay here while I'm doing my studies and um, well, saving money really, and then at some point I'll just move over the border and go into the Republic or something. I don't know. The issue is, this happened yesterday. I am really pissed off. I just cannot believe that this sort of thing is even happening in the first place, because they have been talking about this protest since yesterday morning. I heard of it when I went into work yesterday at 1 p.m. So they have been talking about this for hours. They are talking about it now. The PSNI has seen what they've done yesterday. The entire country has seen what they've done yesterday. But the police is not doing anything. So, where's public safety at this stage? Are they only going to stop people who are protesting against the war in Palestine? What about what about here? What about those cunts? Are they not going to stop them? People who are legitimately threatening the lives of millions of UK residents. They're not going to do anything about this. Yeah. Anyway, I'll let you continue with your day. I'll let you have a good day. Um, I'll figure out what happens from now on, and we'll see any future developments in this case. But yeah, I'm not happy. But happy June anyway. And yeah, as a final note, no pasarán.